Okay, hi, we're talking with Mike today at your home, and Quality Heating installed a 3-zone Mitsubishi Electric heating and cooling system in your residence last summer, about a year ago in 2012. And Mike, can you share why you were interested in the first place of getting a cooling system installed in your home?
Well, for years prior to that, all we had was a window unit to cool the whole house down. We do have electric baseboard heat, so we couldn't put in a conventional cooling system. My daughter has allergies pretty bad, and we needed something to, clean up the air a little bit.
Yeah. Speaking of allergies, and as long as we're on that, and your daughter, how did that help? Did it same? What as far as the allergies go?
It's a huge difference. She's definitely said that the system has helped with her allergies tremendously. So.
Yeah. Before that, did you cool at all, or how did you cool?
We would cool just with the window unit. We had one window unit in the whole house.
Yeah.
And then fans.
Okay. As you can see behind Mike, there is one of the indoor units that's connected. We've got 3 of them here in Mike's system. We've got one here in kind of the kitchen and the gray room. We've got one in the master bedroom, and then we've got one downstairs also. When we originally talked, Mike, in homes where there's no ductwork, there's just about 3 common ways to address cooling. One we had talked about is to install a piece of equipment, an air handling unit or a furnace laying horizontally up in the attic space. And then we put in kind of a modified duct system to distribute cooling, to the rooms upstairs. We were kind of thinking the only way to get downstairs might be to come take up some closet space and come down with some conventional ductwork and that. And, you chose not to take that system, but what didn't you like about that option, Mike?
Well, a couple things. I didn't like the idea of cutting open the gable end of the house to get the unit up there. The other fact of the matter would have been that any kind of service needed, there's not a lot of access to the attic just to get up there. So I just thought this was a better route.
Yeah. We had talked about the fact that we might be able to put you originally wanted it for cooling only, but we talked about the fact that when we were looking at putting air conditioning in here, that we could maybe put heating. But what's your options out here for heating as far as fossil fuel goes?
Well, you'd have to get an LP tank. When the house was built in 1979, all it was built with was electric baseboard heat. So there is no gas or LP anything here right now. I would have had to have done that.
Okay. The second system we had talked about was using what's called a high velocity system, where again we'd put a piece of equipment in the attic. It's got a lot smaller outlets. They're about 3.75 inches, and we'd put those in the ceilings, and then we'd snake down again through the open closets and try to get some runs to cool off the lower level. But again, what were some of the drawbacks in your mind of that type of system?
Well, again, you'd have to have the unit up in the attic, so you have access. The other drawback that I would see is heating. There wouldn't be the option to heat unless you would have maybe electric backup heat on that, and that defeats the whole purpose of saving any money.
Gotcha. The third option, which you thought was the best one, was for a house without a central duct system, was installing what we did is the Mitsubishi Electric ductless split system. You accepted that proposal, and again, like I said earlier, is we installed a 3 indoor head, and with 3 of the units, like is behind Mike on the wall there. And what features about this type of system appealed to you?
Well, the separate zones, number one. We have one in the bedroom, one in the basement living room area, and then one in the main living room area on this floor. So you can control separately. I like the fact that each one has its own thermostat with a remote control feature, and the heating feature that you had with the heat pump. The heat pump has been tremendous all winter long.
Now, we had talked about the fact that the Mitsubishi unit won't go down all the way. We don't have enough heating capacity in these units here to heat the home up here in Wisconsin all the time, and that we knew that at some point in time we were going to need that electric baseboard heat. as just kind of a backup. We left it in, we left all the controls, so you had that. What did you find was kind of the point where the Mitsubishi units wouldn't keep up with heat and the electric baseboard was energized to help out?
About 10 degrees.
So about 10 degrees she ran like that, yeah.
Anything as long as it was 10 degrees and warmer, the Mitsubishi heat pumps kept the house pretty warm, and below that, the electric baseboard would kick in. So in this part of the state, that's probably 85% of the time the Mitsubishi heated the house, probably 90% of the time. You know.
Okay. All right. How about the summer? We had last year in the summer of 2012 up here we had a number of 90+ degree days. We had some consecutive days like that. I know as we're looking behind you, this wall is a western exposure. You got a couple big windows. You get a pretty good solar gain in here. How did the cooling? How did they handle the cooling load?
Fantastic. That was excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kept the house very, very comfortable.
Yep. One of the units we set, because this unit behind you there takes care of the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, kind of the great room here. But we put one right in your master bedroom, and really it's not that far from your bed, probably 6 feet away from the bed and that. How's that sound level, during the summer when it's warm and that thing's running?
Very good. You could barely even hear it.
Heating-wise too?
Heating and cooling.
Heating and cooling.
And that was a big concern of mine because I'd never wanted to put a window unit in the bedroom just for sleeping because it would keep me up all night.
Yeah. Yeah, we always like to call window units window shakers because that's what they do. They shake and they make noise. Did you see any difference in your electrical usage during the summer from what it used to be?
Not really.
Not really, okay. Yeah, and you didn't really operate because of the noise of the window units and that. You really didn't operate those that often.
I only had one, and we only turned it on a couple times a year.
Gotcha.
Because of that.
All right. Now, we installed a Mitsubishi and a heat pump, as you referred to it. How was your heating bills, your electrical usage? Did you see any sort of a change in that over the winter by going from, all electric baseboard to a heat pump system?
Definitely. It dropped down tremendously.
Gotcha. Sound levels were good. Each of the 3 units, you mentioned that were zoned. So how do you operate it when you're not here? I mean, you can raise and lower the different units. Mm-hmm.
Well, just for the bedroom, we like to sleep with a little cooler, so we turn it way down in the bedroom, keep it a little warmer here in the main room.
Okay. On those, each of these 3 indoor units come with its own remote control. How are they to operate? Are they easy to program? Pretty simple?
Yeah, pretty simple.
Pretty simple. That even you don't have to have your kid take care of it. You can program it yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. Any other thoughts you'd like to give? Or we'd like to kind of post this mic on our Facebook page. We'd like to show it to prospective customers. Anything who are considering this type of system. Any final words you'd like to say about it?
I guess I would just highly recommend it if you don't have the ductwork in your house. And Quality Heating did a tremendous job. They live up to their name. It's nothing but quality. Everything from the management of the project to the guys that installed it. They're obviously the best in the industry. So,
Mike, thanks a lot for your time. We certainly appreciate your business.
All right.
Thank you.